Good morning. Here we are in Learn to Communicate with Animals with Joan, and this is Live with Joan. Today we're going to do a special Q&A around the Masterclass or around animal communication in general. And I thought I'd take my glasses off because they are full of hay. So anyway, okay, great. I can't. I'm just gonna let it go. My phone is full of hay. We've got dog hair, cat hair, and hay everywhere we look. So anyway, I wanted to, before we jump in and we wait for some people to come on, let's see. Hi, Heidi. I actually just posted a dolphin memory today. So anyway, I want to share some of the things that are coming up because we've got a lot of stuff coming up. First and foremost, I'm in a really cool summit called the Midlife Woman, and we've got links in here, and if you're on my newsletter, you'll get the link. You can sign up for that this Friday. We've got the Gentle Barn Summit, which is 5 days of healing and meditations and all sorts of things every day at 5 or 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific. And then that Saturday at 11 a.m., I'll be teaching animal communication. And so that's, they dropped the price down to $200. They're just hoping to really help people get healed right now at this crazy time. And that's on February, I think, is the first Saturday the 6th or the 4th? I've got Yasmin here on my iPad.
The first Saturday of February is the 6th.
Okay, so it's February the 6th. And then on January 27th, we have Animal Communication Level 1, another one starting. And that is going to be probably one of the last times I will be very involved. I mean, realistically, I think it will be the last time I'll be so heavily involved because I've been training my teachers, and they are outstanding. And that's a 12-week course. And then I'm in the more advanced, and I come in for Q&A, but and I'll do a few this last round. But I just want to make sure people know that if you want to make sure that you're getting a beginning to intermediate course with me, run, don't walk. Otherwise, I've got fantastic teachers. If you can't do it until April, I'll still be jumping in because that's just how I am. I jump in almost every day to the Wednesday class if I'm not teaching. So I jump in. It just won't be as much me. And let's see, what else do we have? And then it's not too early to think about the spring intensive, and that's in April. And then at the end of February, we have a little intro to death and dying course. So if you're interested in that, please inquire. We have lots of, I'm just scratching the surface of what's coming up. And if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, healer, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the university is a program for people to learn animal communication or become animal communicators, to learn energy healing or become an energy healer for animals. And we're building out a nature and wildlife piece, and we've got so many cool things with that. And then I also, I talked about this last week, and I talked about it in my newsletter. I am declaring 2021 the year that we make animal communication completely normal. I want us to think of this year as a time when we're gonna, work toward peace in this country and in other countries. We're gonna be peaceful. We're gonna pray for peace. We're gonna think about peace. But in the meantime, while people work out their people stuff, we're over here doing the real work of making animal communication normal. And I really believe that making animal communication normal and bringing back a little aspect of magic to the planet is going to bring world peace. So I'm all for that. And so I'm doing my part by keeping it going with the animals and helping as many people as I can to become animal communicators. And when I think about things like, you know, I've had these intentions over the years. Oh, I want to help 1 million animals. I want to help 5 million animals. I want to help 10 million animals. The only way I can do it is if we band together. So if we helped 10 million animals this year, we're going to make animal communication normal. So the two sort of, they go together. And anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And if I can see through the hay in my glasses, who's here, Yasmin?
Oh, we've got 30 people on. That's so quick. Usually now 32.
Cool.
Usually people come on much slower, but wow, people are really jumping on. And everyone's just saying hi to you.
Hello.
So you can't see through your hay covered
No,
glasses.
and I think I have a piece of hay in my eye, so between my eyeball and now my hair's flying about, but no, I'd love to. I'm gonna see if I can sneak a peek.
So we've got Leslie Williams, we've got Sue, Hoon Kim, we've got Judy Jacobs, Cindy Artwood, Tanya Hofe, Kimberly Rashkin Musto. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Kim Nishida, Tanya Creel, Shannon Myers.
Kim, I'm drinking out of your cup again. Kim gave me this cup at the fall intensive.
37 people now on, so
cool.
Say hi to us in the chat, guys.
Yeah, say hello.
Such good vibes.
And it's funny because I think it was Shelly talked about in the thread that my dog liked to wiggle on her back. She's literally doing that right now. So I'd love to hear, for those that are doing the Basic Animal Communication Masterclass, I'd love to hear questions, comments, observations, how you're feeling, what your growth is, what you expected and what really happened. How can, what can I help you with? That's what today is dedicated to, is really deepening our animal communication. Even if you aren't doing it, maybe you have some sort of a question. So fire away, because Yasmin is going to read it for me, since these are full of hay and fingerprints and God knows what else. So, anyone, questions, comments, observations about animal communication? And,
no questions so far. Everybody's just saying hi.
Okay.
And maybe talk about the book club that's coming up after the masterclass.
Yeah, after the masterclass, we're going to... Of course, I'd rather sound like Yasmin and say the masterclass. After the masterclass. We are going to do a book club in here. And we did it before, and so it's going to be, again, a replay, but it's really juicy. And I was going to have it start on Friday, but I realized that we hadn't really told enough people about it exactly, and there was so much confusion. So I moved it to Monday. Worst case scenario, if you haven't gotten the book Communication with All Life, you can get it on Kindle, or you can order it now and have it. And then each day, a different chapter will be discussed. We'll pin it up. And then next Tuesday, I'll do a Q&A about that. And of course, next Tuesday, if you just got the book, you'll have just gotten started. So there will be a little bit of a discussion the following week, and then we've got a special guest, Heather Ann Hughes, one of my graduates. But we'll keep discussing that, because it's juicy. It's really juicy, and it's important to be able to get this information out there. It's just one more tool for us to be able to be communicating with animals and connecting with all life. And the more we connect with all life, the better the world is going to be. So that's what we're going to do next. And then we've got another masterclass in here that we'll do in February. So I can keep you busy for a while. And I'm dreaming up a new masterclass for the summer. I'm going to have a big event online at the end of June. So we've got lots of stuff. Any questions yet?
Just lots of comments and engagement and interaction. Such a beautiful bunch of people. What can I say? Let's see. So Chris says, I watched the first one. She's alluding to the masterclass and loved it. Today I'm going to catch up on day 2 and 3.
Okay, cool.
Loved it. Again.
Cool. Yeah.
And then Kimberly wanted to know if there are any evening classes. But Kimberly, you can take these anytime. Just go onto the Facebook group and you can catch up on the masterclasses whenever it suits you and your schedule.
Yeah, so the masterclass right now, you can watch it at any time. With the Animal Communication Level 1, we have an 11 a.m. and a 5 p.m. And we always threaten to do another one, and that's Pacific time. So if you're interested in that, we'll put a link in here. And it's, definitely 11 a.m.
Yes.
and 5 p.m. And then it's the same when you get into the advanced. It's 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. On Tuesdays. And then the same with the energy healing for animals, 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Thursdays. Oh, and another thing we're going to be having coming up is a whole bunch of acupressure, like piles of acupressure classes. We've got a yin and yang class coming up, and we've got a we're going to redo the intro to animal communication. And can you hear me? Can you hear me very well?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Yep.
But can you hear me on this? Because I think my battery just died.
Oh.
Oops, now you're seeing my house.
Sorry, let me...
Let me change batteries really quick.
Joan, I can hear you on Facebook.
You can?
I can hear you on Facebook. Yeah, I just muted your iPad and I went onto Facebook and I can hear you. So I'm sure that it's okay. Let us know if there's a problem, anybody out there. But it seems to be fine.
This is where Claudia was so amazing. She checked everything before we got started. But here I am in the middle, changing batteries.
Let me, okay, and let me chime in while you're changing batteries. I just want people know that if they're not accessing the chat, they should, because Shannon Myers is on the chat and she helps out with all questions about Joan's enrollments to her classes and all Joan's events. So if you've got any questions about what Joan's mentioned, please just pop a question in the chat to Shannon Myers. You'll see her there. She's very prolific and answering. She's amazing. And she'll answer any of your questions about Joan's programs. That's what she's here for.
Okay.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, thank you. All right, good morning. And then I see also Julie Webb is here. She's going to be the guest in February. Okay, and then, so can you hear me now? Is this better? Better sound?
I mean, yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so Shannon answers any questions. She's in charge of enrollment, and then there's lots of customer care people floating through. And, you know, there are a lot of ways to find out about anything. I mean, if you're shy and you don't want to ask here in the group, you can always reach out to Shannon at info@joanranquet.com. I'm sure somebody's typed that in. And yeah, so we've got lots of good things coming up. And I guess I'll just talk a little bit about some of the things, the way in which I set up my day, maybe, for animal communication, for those that are thinking about doing it professionally. One of the things that, it's funny because like this is early for me. I'm here at 10 a.m. Because I've always had so many animals, even back when I just had a horse and a cat. I feel like if I don't make the effort, the cobbler's kids will have no shoes, right? And it also goes to, like, if you are flying with a kid and all of a sudden the gas mask comes down, you've got to put a little face mask over yourself. So, and then you help your kid. So for me, in order to be of the greatest service, I've got to be good with my own animals, meaning I've got to walk my talk. So my day is set up around my meditation, first thing, my own, like, my body, mind, spirit. So my meditation first thing in the morning is what sets up the day. My exercise helps set up the day. And then I spend time with my animals. Like, I went out on a big hike with my dogs this morning, and then I played with my horses for a little bit. I'm going to, so in the old days, I didn't start work until 11. And that may be why classes start at 11, because I always rode. I usually had was in training. So I took care of everything that I had to take care of so I could be completely available for my clients. And why is that important? I'll tell you, number one, I want to be as neutral as I can be for the person and their animals. So if I'm, if I feel like I haven't, gotten a good meditation in, I might not settle as well as I could. If I just haven't taken care of myself in the best way possible, then I'm not able to be of great service. Now, I could perfect my self-care, sure. I do things here and there that, are naughty, but I still have good habits in the morning, especially on work mornings. And one of the best ways that I start the day is to have that meditation, because throughout the day, if, let's say I'm going to talk to 5-10 animals, I'm going to go from animal to animal to animal. Maybe there's a lunch break, but usually I would be booked through the day. So I only had about 3 minutes to, I would get on the phone with the person and get the information, and then I would say, all right, I'm going to get quiet now and connect with your animal. Well, when I get quiet and connect with their animal, that's my moment of almost connecting back to that original meditation where I was really deep. And because I have such a long history of meditation, I can go deep like that. And this last year during the beginning of the pandemic, and what a weird thing to say, at the beginning of the pandemic, I mean, whoever thought we'd be saying that? So anyway, at the beginning of the pandemic, I got a number of electives together for my students in the big program. And one of them is, one of them was the Silva method, and she calls it going to level. And I've always said to my students, well, you just go deep. And I was really grateful to have someone else come in, because I can sit and break down animal communication all day long. I can break down EFT all day long. I can break down scalar wave all day long. I can break down medical intuition all day long, but break down meditation, maybe not. And so I would just always tell people, go deep, you'll be fine. Oh, you didn't get that? Go deeper. So here, now we suddenly, with the Silva method, are you coming up, Abby? Suddenly had language for it. And so that was really, really great. And I apologize for the people in the 12 years prior that I didn't have words around it. But anyway, we got there. So using this level of quietness is what enables us to recognize that we're hearing others. We're hearing others all the time. We are. It's just the way it is. We are like little receptor sites, and we're sending and receiving at all times. And the more quiet we are, we can be aware of what we're sending. And the more quiet we are, we can recognize who we're receiving information from. And the more quiet we are, the more we're able to, like especially in a time like this, you know, there might be people out there that you're picking up on other people's fears, or, you know, like I said, what a weird thing to start a sentence with. Back in the beginning of the pandemic, I mean, we just never in our lives thought we'd ever use that term. Or, you know, what's going on right now in DC and could be going on around the country. These are real things that are could affect us, and yet if we have a neutral, really deepened neutral state, we can look at it with compassion and hopefulness, even in the madness, because at some point this abscess is going to be popped, and I think we're in the middle of it. So if we're in the middle of it and there's not a lot we can do about that over there, we can control this. And having really good habits, and that's why I brought up my morning routine, is how we almost just fortify the day, if you will. We walk into the day like, okay, I've got my spiritual armor on, I'm ready to go, let's go. And a lot of times, let's go, I've got my spiritual armor on means, you know, you're holding space for somebody whose dogs killed the third cat in their household, or you're holding space for somebody who's got to put their dog down, or you're holding space for somebody whose horse just broke their leg and you know that it's going to be over, or you're holding space for, you know, animal communication is almost at times as tough as being a veterinarian. And I know a lot of us wanted to be veterinarians, but number one, we didn't want to have to put animals down, and number two, we may or may not have been great with science. That's me, anyway. And now I am. Actually, I came to science through energy, and now I get it in a different way, but it's still my go-to is I'm going to look at everything energetically first. But that said, there are times as an animal communicator that we have to hold space with people for as many difficult situations as a veterinarian faces. And also, you know, we're stepping into, if you're here in this group, you're stepping into your own element of leadership here yourself. You're going to be a leader in your own community, in your own area, in your own little mini tribe that's an offshoot of this tribe. And so having good practices, daily practices that keep you on track are really important. Like I noticed that, you know, there's two things that I know about myself. If I don't feel like, I'll get caught up on something if my intuition is telling me something, and yet there's no evidence for it, right? And it'll bug me. What I've learned is that is 150% correct. When I'm bugged like that, there is something up, even if the physical evidence around me isn't backing that up. And that's a really important thing to know about yourself. How many people get like on a tear and people are like, oh no, she's not mad, or oh no, this isn't going on, or oh no. And you know in your heart something's going on. See, getting quiet, that's another one of those things that, okay, let's say there's no intuition involved with telepathy. Let's say that's actually just really listening at a deep level. But also you get intuitive. You get into it. Deepening your intuition is just a bonus or a byproduct, if you will, of living with these daily habits and that level of quietness. The other thing I know is that for me, if I can say that thing out loud, if I can say the truth, then I can let it go. And so I think like those are two things that are just key to my persona in this lifetime that have probably carried through after lifetimes of not feeling seen, but this lifetime not doing that. So what I have found is that inner quiet voice is a key into myself, and the more I know myself, the better I can operate, the better I can be in the world, the better I can show up, the more of service I can be. And that's always my question every morning is, how can I be of service? And what can I, show me the way? And so when you're able to be that quiet these mornings, anyway, so it's not just, it's that level of quietness is threefold. It's the new Holy Trinity, if you will. It's talking to animals, it's communicating with your own soul, and it's also being able to hear the divine. And that, does it get any better than that? Okay, maybe and add in a cold pressed juicer and the juice I'm making lately, then that's pretty great. But that's that's as good as it gets, is being able to almost have a level of quietness, some good daily habits that create an inner GPS that just rocks the planet. And then you'll be able to help so many animals, it won't even be funny. Are there any questions, comments, observations?
Yeah, wow. So many. So, everybody's resonating with what you're saying. And then there was one question which is so beautiful, Joan. One question about, there's like a wildlife general question here, and lots of people are wanting to know the same thing. So should I read that out? It started with Julie asking a question, and maybe you want to address it, and I'll read it out. Julie says, sort of an advanced question, since I haven't completed the wildlife module yet, but need to communicate later today with a coyote who has been stalking a friend's domestic animals. Any tips for that? And then Penny wrote and said, would love to hear Joan's response to Julie's question. I constantly send out a greeting to the wildlife in and near my backyard, saying they are welcome around my yard and Winston is safe. This is his home, and we request that they leave us alone and we leave them in peace. I would like to know what Joan thinks about your question, Julie. And then Maureen McIntyre said, what about communicating with wild animals? Any special classes, or would it be mixed in the curriculum? And then Shannon answered to say, we do connect with wildlife in sanctuaries in our spring intensive. And we have a module in Joan's Big Animal Mastery program called Passport to Wildlife, exploring wildlife through the lens of natural history and experiential education. So that's the whole topic of this wildlife question. Now, it's to you, Joan.
Okay, so, all right, first of all, to Julie. All right, my fundamental belief is that we can communicate with them, we can connect with them, and we can commune with them. And just from, I've taken a lot of naturalist courses, and when I think about our impact on the planet, so I'm going to go into my philosophy first, and then I'll go boom, boom, boom to each of you. I feel like leave alone. I've had, I'm going to let this out as a free thing. We have something called animal advocacy, and you guys in the big program have access to it. And me and an organization called, I forget, we did a big online summit about 4 years ago, and we spoke to some of the greatest speakers, and I don't know if you found that module yet, but it's I interviewed Mark Beckoff. I interviewed a whole bunch of people, and me and this other woman. And what I would say about that is, a lot of science will say that, oh, animals don't need us, right? We don't need to be in relationship with them, relation to them, that they don't need us. But it's ironically, I just posted a memory on my personal page, and maybe I'll put it in here, of swimming with dolphins, where they're absolutely swimming up in my face. And Heidi came on here, and she's gone on a trip, and I don't know if anyone else here has gone on a dolphin trip with me, but I did 8 years of dolphin trips, and let me tell you, they love to play with us. My ravens here, they're not my ravens, my raven friends, love to commune with me. In fact, they imitate me. I've told this here, that they will say, they imitate how I say hello. Hello. And even Chris, who might be on here, and Jill, Dr. Jill, and Ellie witnessed them sitting out there saying hello. And they'll actually imitate my dogs barking. I didn't know what the hell the sound was, but recently now I've discovered that that weird sound they make is imitating the dogs barking. So I think that some animals choose to be in relationship with us, and then other animals are forced to be in relationship with us, which is why we have the animal communication in the sanctuaries, because unfortunately our impact on the planet has left many animals in sanctuaries all over the world, whether it's orangutans because we need palm oil, or whether it's a bear who keeps going in somebody's garbage because somebody isn't taking responsibility for their garbage. So so I try to minimize my impact. In fact, I was out really early this morning, and I knew that coyotes, it's their time. So I'm very loud to let them know. I call my dogs louder than I normally would, just to let them know, hey, we're here in your territory, and you do what you need to do. I'll leash up if you need it. So as far as connecting specifically with that coyote, I mean, you could work with that coyote, but you could also make sure that your friend is keeping her animals safe. And then what I have done in the past is created almost an energetic grid, and making a safety zone around that. I certainly feel like there's absolutely accidentally a safety grid around me all the time. And so that's where I would start is, I think that we have to be careful with how much we think we can help in that situation, because they are living in their own free will. So, one is a question of repelling, and one is a question of bringing to. So Julie's is repel, and Penny's is bringing to. And I want to share something just kind of right in the middle there. One of the trips I was on, so I did about 4 years. I used to take people also to South Africa, Kenya, Namibia, Botswana, Borneo. I've done a lot of those kinds of trips. And on one of the trips, one of the women just kept saying, when are we going to talk to the animals? When are we going to talk to them? And I said, we can go out there and talk to them, but why not just be the fly on the wall and see who they are, And so anyway, she kept driving this home. So I said, all right, here we are. We had a big trip that time, so the 2 Jeeps pulled up to this, okay, I'm going to turn you down, Yasmin, because I don't know. That's really loud. Okay, so the 2 Jeeps pulled up to this little baby leopard, obviously waiting for her mom, and she's sitting there preening herself, as big cats and small cats do. And she was just this perfect baby leopard. We were probably 10 feet. So I do what I do, and I got quiet, and I put a bubble around her, and I connected heart to heart, and I said, may I communicate with you? And she looked around and was so freaked out and just shot out of there. So I don't, everybody saw it. We couldn't believe it. So I think that, like I said, there's some animals that are open to it and some are not. What I am careful of is I don't think that we should be, I just think that like that giraffe out there has nothing to do with my career choices. And where I think we go sometimes with wildlife is the expectation on some of these trips with animal communicators becomes as anthropocentric as the zoo. And so I'm mindful that we are really there to witness, observe, hold space for, and be with them. And so then to Penny's question, I would say what I love to do is to get very quiet and send out real appreciation. I've got, there's in the wildlife section of the school, we have a meditation that I do on the wildlife trips where we're just sending out so much appreciation and I'll tell you, it's a very funny thing because as much as like a Mark Beckoff may say that they don't want anything to do with us, they love appreciation. And appreciation is just one dot off gratitude, if that makes sense. So when I think about creating appreciation for something and getting so quiet, you're creating a field of energy that's welcoming. I had so many times we would do the first meditation on the dolphin trip and we would get in the water the first time and we would have a great, because we'd never had one before, experience with dolphins. But as the trip progressed and people understood that need to be really quiet and in that beautiful, joyful, appreciative state, then we were like dolphin magnets. So it's complex, and I hope that helps. What I plan to do for about 4 years, and it just hasn't happened yet, is to have a subscription called Passport to Wildlife. I'm just going to share it because it's been a huge thing I've been trying to create. People in the big program obviously would have it forever, but really bringing in once a month some leaders in conservation and people that are helping to save species that are going extinct. So that's a big part of that. Yasmin, are you there?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
We went down to your kitchen. What did we get?
We got a salad because it's 1 o'clock here, quarter to
Okay.
1 Eastern Standard Time, and my tummy was rumbling, so I went to get a good green salad.
Okay, good girl. Does that help, Penny or Julie? And that doesn't.
Penny's saying, sorry, thank you.
And I think that once you get into that, when you live in a state of appreciation, and you'll see, play with it. It's different than gratitude. Then you are a mag. That's why, like, I think I always have something. I mean, this one friend of mine always just says that she calls me because I've got some wildlife drama going on. There's always something going on here, whether it's the mouse in my feed room or the ravens imitating my dog's barking while I'm out there by myself, or, the owl hoots by every night when I go out to feed dinner for the horses. It's just absolutely amazing what goes on when you live in that state outside. People have told me for years and years and years that they've seen deer around the corner. I've never seen a deer once. And the other day, Ellie and I thankfully had our dogs on leashes, came up over the hill, and there were 6 deer. And we just thought that we had, hit the lottery. won the lottery. I mean, we just stood there in complete appreciation. And then the deer stayed there and our dogs didn't bark. And it was like this epic moment. And for me, that's what helps them. Like what I experience is they appreciate that appreciation. We're not so excited we're going after them. Because if you think about excited energy is a repellent. And I mean, I guess that's one thing. You could sit and do cheerleading outside your friend's house, Julie, that you don't want the coyote to stalk, but that would send a coyote off to another planet. But anyway, any other comments, questions? I hope that helps.
Oh my God, it's resonating with everybody tremendously, and with me. It's incredible. I mean, do you want me to read all these comments? There are lots, hundreds.
Okay, I would love to hear them, but I want to say one thing. If Connie's on here, she remembers the night that we just got so quiet. We could not find the Holy Trinity of white lions, and we finally found them. And the more quiet we got, the closer they came, to the point where it's like these 3 lions came down to our Jeep. And it was like, and then we sat with them. Our guide had to keep calling into camp saying, "No, ma'am, we will not be coming for dinner yet. We are surrounded by lions." So, you know, it's incredible what can happen when you get into that deep, quiet, appreciative space where there's no agenda. That's another trick. That's where the practice of meditation helps so much, so that like you know your agenda's gone. Anyway, it's incredible. Okay, so yeah, I'd love to hear a few things.
Well, Connie Koch says, best night of my life.
Yeah, that was about the best night of my life too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's just saying how they love this explanation, how it makes so much sense. Everyone says, I agree with you. Just beautiful. It does. It resonates so deeply and powerfully, being an appreciation approach. Everybody has amazing.
You know what? Right now, a hawk is sitting right there. A huge hawk, right? Like, and you know, how many times am I on here and I'm like, woo, there go 3 hawks. You know, it's just, it's incredible. And when, I mean, of course, I live in, you know, on the edge of the greatest hunting grounds for hawks and owls. But, you know, also my energy could repel them away. I mean, you know, that's just, I welcome it. When I lived in Carnation, I had a little bear that lived down the hill. And I would know that the bear was there because I'd hear my horse, Anya, snort. I called her the bear whisperer. So I would just, you know, be mindful with the dogs. For me, it's about living with them. And so I've got to be overly protective of my animals so that I'm never part of what is taking away from their world. That we're just a little unit over here, and if we can play out there, great. And if it's your turn, we'll go home. And that's the way we live our lives. Yeah.
There's some other interesting, there's another interesting question that maybe dovetails and you want to talk about it, is Melissa Olvett. Do you know her at all? Or I'm not sure if she's in the programs or was just in the Facebook group. But she had this question that I think is interesting about second guessing ourselves with animal communication.
Oh.
That I think that so many of us go through, and I thought it would be interesting to address that, since as you've got the masterclass going on. And
second guessing is a really important. Oh my God, there's another hawk. Yeah, I'm telling you. Talk about magnetizing. Thank you for all your appreciation. Who knows what's going to run? I've been sitting here and watched a bobcat go by. So hopefully, who knows what we're calling in. Thank you for all your appreciation. So,
It's beautiful.
yeah, it's amazing.
So,
So the second guessing part, that is, first of all, we're going to second guess in the beginning, and that's a natural thing to do. And then we're going to be really advanced, and we're still going to second guess. I can't even tell you how many times still I have second guessed. And I will say this, the way, and I know that the people that are in the program are going to totally agree with me on this. I feel like the AC level 1, animal communication level 1, is absolutely to build your confidence as an animal communicator. And then throughout the advanced part, if you go further with me, that's all about building your confidence in yourself. Like there's confidence in the work itself in the beginning, but then there's confidence in you. And so while, after about a while, a long while, and I'd love for Julie and Penny to pipe in how long it took, or if you're there yet, or Connie, you start, there becomes a certain amount of acceptance. Rather than second guessing, you sit with it, and you stay with it, and it becomes, it resonates in your body differently, and you're able to say it even if it might not be completely 150% accurate, but you're on to something. And that's what I mean about trusting your intuition eventually. So there's that, and I also want you to look at, like, everybody complains that I don't give them enough time in the classes. And I'll tell you exactly why I don't give them enough time. I give them exactly the amount of time that they need. Because if they had any more time, they would spend that time second guessing. And I don't want that muscle built. I want the trusting muscle built. So if you only have 5 minutes and you get what you get, you're going to start trusting that. And that's why that I have it very structured. And it's really important to just, it's experience, it's practice, it's guidance that creates that confidence in yourself and the work. That's it. What time is it?
It's 1:50 my time.
Oh, I have to teach.
So another 5-10 minutes.
I have to teach though, so
If you want.
I have to wrap it up because I have to. God knows how long my computer takes to get on Zoom. Okay, so I'm teaching advanced here in a few minutes. Today at 11 and 5, we've got some really good animals for that, for those that are in my big program, and I've got some good ones for tomorrow, and we've got a juicy energy healing for animals this week, so it's a fun week of teaching for me. We're back at it. I will go through after class, I'll go through and look at some of these comments and see if there's anything I can answer. Is there anything?
Everybody is just, again, saying how Julie Webb says it's true with verified practice. My confidence has grown so much.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Julie, very fun to watch. And Sandy says what?
Sandy says, thank you so much. This was awesome. Everybody's just saying thank you to you, Joe.
All right, well, thank you. And as I said, later today I'll get on and answer questions, or tonight I've got teaching both classes. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. And I hope you're enjoying the Masterclass if you're doing this for the first time. And I'll see you next week. And don't forget to order your copy of Communication with All Life. We'll put a link in here. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yes.